Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're really delighted to have you here. Before I hand over to the Google team, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. Obviously, we're still in level 5, believe it or not. I know many of you are getting extremely frustrated by that. We're now into, the middle of the 3rd month of restrictions here. And certainly we'd hoped that we were going to be a lot better off than this. Just a quick update. We were on a call with Minister English this morning, a number of other retail groups present. And certainly the Minister's view was that we would be looking towards reopening. They were hoping that they would see 200 cases or less by the end of February. Clearly that's not happening. I think what we were seeing from the Taoiseach this morning was him talking around click and collect around the Easter period. And then followed by a gradual reopening following on from that. And I guess, look, the only grain of comfort today is the fact that there's good news around the fact that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is on its way, and hopefully better days are ahead. But how long have we been hearing that? It seems to be ongoing at this point. Anyway, less of the doom, gloom and depression. Hopefully the next hour or so we will lift some of that doom, gloom and depression. And I'd like to welcome the team from Google Digital Garage. Today's presentation is around getting online and digital marketing strategies. And I'm sure you're going to find it entertaining and worthwhile. It's part of a series of presentations and webinars that we're going to be running with Google really over the next 3 or 4 months. And I'm sure that beyond that, there'll be additional Google content that we'll be coming back to you with. So we're delighted to have this partnership up and running. It's not all going to be Google all the way through for us. We're going to dip in and out with other presentations and webinars. If you recall, we've been doing these things at this time for the last few months. We've tended to do them every fortnight. We're now going to do them every week. And we've got a load of scaled up content that we're going to be doing with you and for you over the next few months, as I say. Anyway, enough from me. I'm now going to hand you over to Rakesh from Google, who is going to take you through his little journey for you for the next 40 minutes or so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that warm introduction, Duncan. So as Duncan mentioned, my name is Rakesh. I'd like to say a warm welcome to you all. Good afternoon, and welcome to this Google Digital Garage webinar session all about digital marketing strategy. As I said, my name's Rakesh. I'm going to be your kind of webinar host or presenter, however you like to kind of call it, over the course of kind of the next hour or so that we have together on this session, which is going to last for kind of that period of time. And hopefully we'll kind of get through a lot of kind of information within that period of time. Before I kind of tell you a little bit about myself, just a little bit of kind of technical kind of issues. If you're kind of experiencing any sort of sound drop-offs or kind of the video might be a little bit laggy for you, if that's the case, what I'd usually recommend, give your browser page a quick refresh or just kind of come out of the YouTube app and load it back up again if you're viewing this on your smartphone or a tablet. As with all types of technology, sometimes it's always a case of if it doesn't work, turn it off, turn it back on again, and it usually should be okay for you. Now, if you are okay, can hear and see me clearly, that's fantastic. Grab yourself pen and paper. Hopefully you've got a cuppa in hand, ready to kind of absorb some information. Some information that we're going to be going through might be kind of marketing channels that you're already using currently for your organization. Some might be new for you as well. Now, in addition to kind of this webinar session that I'm going to be kind of speaking through throughout the majority of this, is I'd love to hear from you. So there's a live chat box on the bottom right of your screen. Some of you have already kind of interacted and kind of said a quick hello. So we've got the likes of Paul tuning in. We've got Kimmy tuning in from a rainy/sunny Dublin. So it's best of both worlds there. We've got Jer from Kildare. We've got Janice from Sienna Home Furnishings. We've got Parts of Trampolines from Cork. We've got obviously Retail Excellence, our webinar partner, in there as well. So feel free to kind of get involved in that live chat to kind of drop in your thoughts and comments, and also ask questions as well. And I'll try and get around to as many of your questions in the time that we have together as well. So as I mentioned, I'll just give you a bit of an intro into who I am. So I am a trainer for Google's digital skills program, Google Digital Garage. I'm also a digital marketer, which is quite kind of apt for the session that we're running today, all about digital marketing strategy. Now, the kind of base point that I kind of work with when I'm kind of working with clients and speaking to businesses on an initial basis to help them to create and grow their online presence is to kind of create a strategy, because it's always nice. I'm sure we're all kind of aware as kind of business owners or people who work within businesses ourselves. We kind of know that it's always nice to be able to work from a specific kind of structure and a framework. And we'll be going through that throughout the course of this webinar session. I'd also like to introduce at this stage my colleague and fellow Google Digital Garage trainer, Benedict. So Benedict won't be on screen, but he will be in the live chat. So Benedict is going to be our chat moderator. So you will see Benedict's name pop up quite a lot. So if you've got any questions, pop them into the live chat. Benedict will have a look at some of your questions. You may be able to answer some of those as we go along, depending on kind of the time that we have available. And some questions you may feel the need to maybe hold back for me to maybe provide my thoughts, which might be beneficial to the wider group of us who are kind of tuned in to this webinar session. So as Duncan mentioned earlier on, this is kind of the first webinar in a series that the Google Digital Garage has partnered with Retail Excellence for. So if you have a look kind of down below me, there's kind of a video description box. In the video description box, there's a few paragraphs. In one of the paragraphs, there's a website link which takes you to the Google Digital Garage website and specifically to the webinars page. So feel free to kind of bookmark this page and just kind of stay tuned for future webinar sessions, and then feel free to kind of sign up for them in the same way that you kind of signed up for this webinar session as well. Also, when you are booking onto the next Google Digital Garage webinar session on the site, feel free to explore the online courses section of the site. So there's a really great course I want to highlight in particular, which is a course called The Fundamentals of Digital Marketing, which is a course that's available to you at no charge. And it's a course which you can complete in your own time. And this Fundamental of Digital Marketing course kind of hits the nail on the head. So it kind of talks through in a bit more depth with what we're going to be touching upon today in regards to the way that businesses promote themselves online, how they monitor that with the use of kind of analytical tools, and just kind of generally making sure that our business online presence is the best version it can be. So it kind of builds upon the knowledge that you'll kind of take away from this session as well. Now, as an added bonus of that particular Fundamentals of Digital Marketing course, once you've completed it, you'll actually receive a certificate at no charge from Google, recognizing that you've completed that course as well. So that's always a nice little perk to get a little certificate. But the main kind of objective of that course is to just kind of obtain more knowledge, which can then only sort of help your business going forward as well. So kind of feel free to kind of check that out when you do get a moment. But without further ado, let's have a look at what we're covering in today's webinar session, all about digital marketing strategy. So first of all, we're actually going to be understanding digital marketing. So I'm not going to be going through a definition or anything like that. I'm sure many of you know and have some level of an online presence. But what's always nice to do, I always think it's always important to do when we're kind of thinking about, right, we're going to create a strategy now of how we tackle and promote our product online, right? But it's always good to beforehand just go through a validation and a verification process. Say, okay, well, what we're doing now, i.e. creating and building upon an online presence for our business, it is the right direction that we're going in, right? And it's just kind of validating that question more than anything else. So we'll kind of have a look at certain kind of opportunities that can be born out of having an online presence. And some of these opportunities you might have even encountered yourself already. We'll then move on to kind of a bit of a kind of a whistle-stop tour over the variety of kind of key digital marketing channels. And some of these channels that we'll kind of explore might be channels that you are currently using within your own business right now. And some you might think, oh, maybe later down the line, I might incorporate maybe this type of advertising or whatever it might be as well. And it's just these kind of descriptions that I'm going to be going through and kind of with all of these kind of key marketing channels are kind of there for you to just be aware of, because maybe at certain points in time, depending on kind of how things are with your business, you might want to kind of dip your toe into the water with another type of digital marketing channel as well. And then we'll kind of finish off this webinar session by actually having a look at what we believe to be kind of a good framework for a digital marketing plan as well. And we'll kind of talk through a worked example with a business just to kind of provide a little bit of context. So you can kind of jot down notes as we go along. And also you can think, well, okay, this is a question that Rikesh is talking about and how he's applying it to this kind of imaginary business that we're going to be using later on. How does it apply to me? So that's always something to kind of keep at the back of your mind there as well. So first and foremost, we kind of want to kind of have a look at digital marketing, and specifically what kind of opportunities might we get from having an online presence as well. So from a business point of view, we all kind of know, I guess, at the back of our mind anyway, and it's probably the reason why many of us have some level of an online presence already for our business, that it's kind of a good idea to have a business presence. But sometimes we kind of need that validation to think, yeah, we are heading in the right direction. We are kind of setting aside a particular particular type of budget that we have, which we're going to use on digital advertising that we have as well. So it's always nice to kind of get that validation before we actually go ahead and do things as well. So before we kind of go into some of these opportunities, one thing to kind of bear in mind, I'm sure you're all fully aware, is that we do live in a mobile world now. You can kind of see in Ireland alone, over 70% of the population are buying things online. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's bought something online, probably multiple times, to be fair. I think I buy more things online than I ever did before. And that was kind of prior to the current circumstances that we're all in as well. And I'm sure many of you kind of have your smartphone very much to hand. It's probably, you're either watching this webinar session on your smartphone, or you've probably got it in your hand, or it's within arm's reach of you, as I think that's just kind of the nature of the world and things have gone today. And you can actually see how many smartphones there are. There's over 3 billion kind of globally smartphones that there are in use, and I'm sure that number is growing day by day as well. And crucially, from a business point of view, you can actually see here that across the world, 60% of searches are actually done on mobile devices, which from a business point of view, it makes sense. If 60% of our potential customers are spending time online and searching for products like ours, it makes sense for us to be there when those pairs of eyes are actually looking for products that we sell, essentially, as well. So one of the kind of the key opportunities from having an online presence is that we're able to reach more people online. So we're actually able to kind of find out answers to questions such as, well, are people searching for my products and or services online? Are people typing that in onto Google? So you can actually get an answer to that by using a kind of many tools. And one of the tools which I'd highly recommend that you check out, especially because it's available at no charge to you, so you can just kind of jump on and have a bit of a play around with it first and foremost, is a tool which you can kind of maybe make out in this kind of screenshot here on this smartphone, which is a tool called Google Trends. So Google Trends is a really fantastic tool because it shows you the interest over a period of time in kind of search terms that people are typing into that Google search box. So you can type in your products that you're selling and you can see what the interest is over a period of time within a certain locality. So you can kind of do it according to you can do Ireland, and you can compare that with somewhere like France and maybe Germany. And if you're seeing maybe an interest in one of those countries, you could think, well, can we create a logistical channel in order to ship to those particular countries as well, which may be able to help us to actually grow into a new market, for example, as well. So we can really kind of reach more people online, not just from a fact of kind of the local side of things, with as I was mentioning, over 70% of the Irish population are buying online, but also more from kind of a global scale point of view as well. Now, another opportunity by having an online presence is that we get to crucially learn a bit more about our customers. So we kind of get to learn which kind of parts of the world, which parts of the country are they kind of visiting and kind of interested in my product offering, for example. So a really great tool that can kind of help us to identify and kind of learn a bit more about our customers. So where they're tuning in from, which social media channel are they coming to our website from, is a really great Google tool, which is available again at no charge, which is called Google Analytics. I'm sure many of you actually out there have already got your business website linked to Google Analytics as well. If you haven't, highly recommend that you get that done, because that will really help you to kind of see various kind of graphs, a little bit like what you can see on screen here. You can kind of find out information in terms of kind of people's localities, kind of what are people's behaviors. Crucially, you'll be able to find out the answer, which of my products product pages are people visiting the most. That's a great answer, which you can then build upon in your marketing efforts online as well. You can maybe play on that particular product when you're promoting and marketing in the future down the line as well. So you can really kind of lean into this, learning a bit more about your customers just merely by having an online presence as well. And then kind of the final sort of thing I want to kind of mention when it comes to kind of validation, when it comes to an opportunity from having an online presence, is that we are able to communicate and support our clients and or customers better, however you kind of term them, essentially. But I mean, I'm sure you're kind of aware of that. There can be a little bit of kind of a barrier at times between the business and the customer. And there's kind of a little bit of kind of an invisible wall at times. And what kind of having an online presence, specifically, I guess, social media presence can do is it can break down those barriers. So rather than people kind of sending you an email to your customer services email address with their query, they can maybe send you a direct message on your Twitter. And they'll probably expect a quicker response, because if everything's feeding through to one email address, then there might be kind of a 3 working day rule when they would expect a response back. And then if it's not satisfactory or they got something else to query, you end up kind of playing a little bit of ping pong, kind of email tennis, as I like to kind of call it, at times as well. So this really kind of, it helps from a point of view, from a customer point of view. So you're able to kind of be a bit more transparent and open, as well as kind of from your point of view, is you're actually kind of using less time. Because you're not kind of dealing with a load of emails, you're kind of dealing with things as they kind of come in, albeit through a variety of different online channels that you have set up as well. So that's kind of some of the kind of the validation or the verification kind of factors in terms of what kind of opportunities can be born from having an online presence. So with that in mind, let's actually have a look now and explore some of these digital marketing channels that we can kind of utilize in order to promote our business to this kind of the 70%, over 70% of people that are buying things online in Ireland, and kind of further wide as well, depending on where you kind of ship to and kind of sell to as well. So when it comes to digital marketing channels, the 6 key digital marketing channels that we're going to be kind of briefly touching upon throughout this session is all of these on screen here. So we've got the likes of kind of display marketing. I'll explain a bit what I mean by that. We've got email marketing, which is a little bit more kind of self-explanatory, I guess. We've got social media marketing. We've got content marketing, and I'll kind of explain how that kind of feeds into some of these other types of marketing, digital marketing channels as well. And then we've got kind of the 2 types of search marketing. Now, that's probably a great place to start, actually. So when it comes to search marketing, I just want to kind of refresh your minds. I'm sure you're all fully aware. This is what is known as a search end results page. So I'm sure many of you have kind of typed something into that Google box, hit the enter key. If you have, then guaranteed you will have seen a page very similar to what you can see on screen now, albeit with different search engine results. So just to kind of showcase where everything lies on this particular page, we've got the search query, which is what we type into that Google search box, and we hit the enter key, or our customers hit the enter key once they're searching for something. Below that, in the blue box, you can actually see that this is the section where adverts will appear. So these will be both what are known as kind of Google text-based ads or Google shopping ads as well. You can see there's a mixture of 2 here. So you can kind of see the shopping ads, which are a bit more kind of visual as well, because it's got kind of an image of the actual product. So a compact camera, as you can see here. And then below that, you've actually got a text-based advert as well. And then below all that is this green box here, which are essentially kind of listings, which are just what are known as organic search listings, or what I like to kind of simplify and just call them is free website listings. So by the virtue of you having a business website, which I know many of you do have, then by that very virtue, you have a presence on Google. You might not be appearing on the first page of Google. You might be appearing on the 5th page of Google or the 10th page of Google, wherever it might be. But essentially what we kind of want to be doing is we want to get to a point where our free website listing, our kind of default listing, I guess, as you could sometimes call it, is we want to get to a point where when people are searching for products and or services that we provide into that search query box, we want our free web listing or our organic search listing to appear on the first page of Google. Now, in order to actually do that, we have to make improvements to our website. And this kind of process of improving improving our website and making sure that we're kind of moving up the page rankings and eventually kind of getting to page one is a process called search engine optimization, or you might have kind of heard the term SEO for short. That's kind of been bandied around at times. So when it comes to SEO, this is kind of part of search marketing. So when it comes to search engine optimization, SEO, the main purpose of improving the quality of our content on our website is that we want to help Google to locate our website and the content within our website, and help Google to also understand our content as well. Because the way to kind of think about kind of Google is that it's kind of a robot. So it kind of comes onto your website, has a look, tries to make sense of it. And from your point of view, as a person that can control the content on the website, you want to make sure that Google is aware that these potential pages interlink with each other. This is the flow of the website as well. So it's very important to make sure that you are kind of making things as easy as possible when it comes to having kind of a natural flow and kind of interlinking between certain web pages on your particular website. Now, a really great tool that I'm sure many of you might have kind of either heard of or you're currently using right now, which can kind of help with the process of search engine optimization, is a tool called Google Search Console. Now, this one of the best features of Google Search Console is you're able to monitor how well you are performing in terms of your average page ranking. So as you're improving the content on your website, you can actually see if your average page ranking is getting better as well. And that's kind of a really great kind of factor in kind of thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing well here. Let me continue to improve the quality of our website content. What I mean by improving quality of the website content is trying to sort of create content in line with the types of things that people are searching for as well, because people's search behaviors kind of change over a period of time. So I guess maybe if people are maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, perhaps we're typing in pizza in Dublin or pizza in Kildare, right? Whereas now people might just type in pizza near me. So people's behaviors when it comes to searching can change over a period of time. So it's important to kind of just stay abreast as to what is what people are tending to search for into that search box as well. So some top tips when it comes to search engine optimization: we want to run what is known as keyword research. So you might be wondering, well, Rikesh, what is a keyword? In its kind of basic form, a keyword is a word or a phrase, or words or phrases, plural, that is essentially typed into that Google search query box. So we really want to research what people are typing into that search query box. So we can use that tool of Google Trends, but also we can use another tool called the Google Ads Keyword Planner, which is a tool that's available to you at no charge. Again, and this is a tool which you can access through the Google Ads platform. Now, you don't have to run any Google adverts in order to access this particular tool, but you do need to sign up for that platform in itself as well. So you want to really research what's kind of research what is what people are searching for currently as well. Another thing to kind of bear in mind, I'm sure you're kind of all aware of it, when it comes to improving your website, you want to publish useful content and high quality content, because it's all good and well you getting onto the first or second page of Google and then people clicking onto your business site. But if you've not got useful content and it's not exactly kind of visitor friendly, some of the buttons are out of place, some links are not working, for example, then it kind of puts a lot of people off, right? So you want to make sure that we're keeping people on that site, and hopefully from a business point of view, we're kind of getting them down kind of the sales journey into eventually sort of buying from us specifically as well. As I mentioned before, we want to make sure that Google is able to not only find our content on our website and web pages, but also understand it as well. So we want to make our web pages search friendly. Now, one of the ways in which we can do that is actually make sure that we're kind of using page titles and kind of descriptions and kind of literally talking about what we're going to be, what this page is about, rather than kind of beating around the bush kind of thing, saying, oh, this is what we're going to be talking about, and your page title is loosely linked to what you're talking about. It's important to be really kind of descript in that regards, just to make it kind of more search friendly as well. So there's probably a lot more when it comes to kind of search engine optimization, but that's kind of our whistle stop tour through this element of search marketing. Another element is also kind of being found by our local customers or our potential local customers. So as well as kind of being found by people within kind of, I guess, in terms of countrywide, we also want to be be found, you know, in the locality that we're based in as well. Now, the way that we can actually increase our Google footprint, as you were, as well as having that free search listing, that organic business listing, that organic search listing that we have that appears, we can also create a business listing as well. And that's available to you at no charge. And you can actually set up a business listing, which will appear on Google through a platform called Google My Business. Now, I'm sure many of you might have kind of seen this before. Some of you may have even set up your Google My Business listing. This is how it kind of appears on a smartphone view. On a desktop view, you'd probably see it appear kind of on the right-hand side of the page where there's kind of empty white space. But it's got crucial information such as the business name. It's got a button for call, directions, which will then link you through to Google Maps. It's got a link for a website. It's got opening hours, crucial for kind of the times that we're living in as well. Especially with many businesses maybe kind of reducing opening hours specifically as well. You can also add in certain kind of information to say that staff wear masks and kind of inform people as to other kind of safety protocols that you have taken in regards to your business as well. And the main benefit of having this business listing is, as well as kind of another place that people can find you on Google, is you can show people that you're active, especially in these times. You can tell people, well, even due to the current times, we're still open, we're still operating, albeit in this capacity. So you can really kind of let people know that you are kind of still going as one. And it's really, really handy for people, especially to kind of see kind of things such as opening hours, because that really helps people when they're kind of deciding whether to kind of shop with you or not as well. So let's kind of come to the final element of search marketing here, which is what is known as search engine marketing. And how does that actually compare to what we've just spoken about, this process of actually improving our website? Well, search engine marketing is a lot different in that we're actually paying for the privilege here. So we're actually placing an advert. So another word for kind of search engine marketing is search advertising, right? It doesn't matter too much about the wording, however you kind of word it. It's basically placing an advert that will appear on search engines such as Google, right? So with this search engine optimization process that we looked at earlier on, it doesn't cost you a penny to actually improve the content of your website. So financially, it doesn't cost you. It might cost you in time in actually making sure that you're improving kind of your website content and kind of improving your website in terms of some of the keywords that people are typing into that search query box. But when it comes to kind of search advertising, what we're actually doing here is we're actually bidding on keywords. So what I mean is when we are running kind of something like Google Ads, we kind of go into an auction. So rather than improving our website, that's kind of, we can leave that by the by. What we're actually doing here is we're actually bidding on keywords that we believe that a lot of people are typing into that search box. And then once somebody does type that in, if we have bid high enough, or if we're in kind of the first top 4 bidders, then our advert will then appear in the top in the advertising section at the top of that search engine results page. So you are paying for that privilege, but essentially the way I kind of like to sum it up sometimes is you're essentially kind of paying your way to the top, which might be useful for some of your kind of strategies if you are maybe a brand new business to a saturated market currently. Then if you want to kind of get your name out there and you have a budget to advertise on search engines, then definitely it's something to explore. But one thing I'd probably personally recommend is always kind of keep this search engine optimization process going in the background, because this is kind of a little bit like your bread and butter, because you're always improving your website, because you want to make sure that you are appearing as often in search results and for as relevant Google search results as possible specifically. But also by doing that, you're actually providing the best website experience for your customers, which is a nice benefit as well. So that's something we should always kind of, you should always keep that going in the background. Now it can take a bit of time to get your website listing to appear on the first page of Google, but if you keep that going in the background, then eventually you will kind of reach the destination that you've kind of set out for as well. But you can also incorporate things such as search advertising in the meantime as well. So to get started with search engine marketing or search advertising, you want to kind of create an advert through the platforms such as Google Ads. And the type of campaign that we're creating is a search campaign. We then want to choose which keywords that we are placing a bid on. And this is very important, as I mentioned before, to choose which keywords that people are kind of typing into that search box, especially when there's money on the line as well. And then we want to be writing an advert that's going to kind of capture people's attentions as well, and make them want to click onto our specific advert as well. So some top tips is really optimize that keyword list and make sure that we're kind of bidding on keywords that a lot of people are typing in. If you're a business that kind of focuses more just on kind of a specific locality, then feel free to kind of look into a bit more of that. Maybe you can add in a particular locality like a Dublin or a Kildare in specifically as well. Maybe that might kind of help to kind of get more of that local business as well. You can also boost your Google Ads with what are known as ad extensions. So these are those things, you might have seen them on your smartphone. So if you kind of see an advert appear on a Google search on your phone, then you might kind of see the first line of the address. And now if you click on the first line of that address, it jumps you through to your Google Maps app and kind of provides you the directions to get to that particular shop as well. Same sort of thing if you kind of see the phone icon or the email icon, it will kind of take you to your email app, or it will kind of give you a prompt on your phone saying, would you like to call this telephone number as well? And these ad extensions are available to you at no charge, but a lot of people tend to kind of forget to add these on when they're creating their adverts. So that's something to bear in mind. And the biggest thing to keep in mind, and the biggest tip I can give when it comes to placing adverts on search engines, is monitor how well you're performing. So you can really connect your Google Ads account to Google Analytics. So you can see, you can actually see through Google Analytics, which essentially is one of the most popular website analytics tools, which allows you to essentially track every click that happens on your website. So you can see of the people that are clicking through from your Google ad that you're running, how many of those people are going to this product or that product. And you can actually see and start to kind of see a correlation as well that can maybe give you information going forward into your kind of future marketing efforts as well. So next, I'll have a look at another digital marketing channel, which is display marketing or display advertising. And when it comes to these sort of advertising marketing channels, the one thing to bear in mind is we want to make sure that we're kind of getting a return on investment, because there's money at stake, which is not necessarily the case with that search engine optimization process, although we are technically still paying for it with time there as well. So we want to keep that in mind. How can we always get a return on investment when it comes to these types of digital marketing channels when it relates to advertising as well? So what are display ads? Well, display ads are a little bit like what you can see on screen here in these kind of yellow boxes. They typically kind of appear on publisher sites or like local news sites. I've seen them on like food blogs, a little bit like this as well. And another kind of term for display ads are what are known as banner ads. So with banner ads, the one thing I like to kind of look at display ads or banner ads, however you like to kind of call it, is they're essentially like the billboards of the internet. So if you're kind of driving past somewhere, you'll see a billboard, or you walk past somewhere, you see a billboard. What's the main reason? What's the purpose of running these adverts? The reason is to capture people's attention, to get people interested in you. If you've got kind of a website link on your billboard or your online billboard, hopefully people will click onto it and learn more about you. So it's capturing people's attentions there as well. So how do we set up a display advert? Well, we can still set up a display advert in the same platform that we set up an advert that appears on Google search engine specifically as well. So to create a display advert, we would create what's known as a display campaign within Google Ads. We then want to choose which websites we want our digital billboard essentially to appear. And then we want to create a good looking advert in itself as well. Now, some top tips when it comes to running display adverts, if that's an option that you're looking at for yourself, is you really want to understand your customers. Now, what I mean by understanding your customers, understand which places they're spending a lot of time on. So which websites are they spending a lot of time on? Because that will give you a good indication as to which websites you want your kind of image-based advert, or your text-based advert, or your video-based advert, whichever you kind of end up kind of creating. Which site that you then end up kind of clicking and selecting that you want this advert to appear on as well. You can also use the power of remarketing. I'm sure many of you might have kind of had this happen to you before. I've had it to me before, whereby you're searching for a pair of jeans. I'm kind of browsing. Let's say I was browsing a couple of days ago, and I think, oh, I'm not too sure about this pair of jeans. And you come off your browsing, and then you jump back on your laptop a couple of days later. You start browsing generally. And what do you tend to see? Sometimes you tend to see an advert for the specific in my case, a specific pair of jeans that I was actually looking at 2 days ago. And this is through kind of the power of remarketing. So you can get those people back that were visiting your page as well with kind of these display adverts. And again, kind of test and optimize. And it kind of goes into what I was mentioning before, is you want to really sort of see what sort of return on investment that you are getting as well. So another type of digital marketing channel is social media. So when it comes to social media, there are essentially kind of a lot of ways in which social media can help businesses to grow. One is that it can help you to generate more sales. So there's many people now who are spending a lot of time on social media. So that's a lot of pairs of eyes that, from a business point of view, we can get our product in front of, essentially, and our messaging in front of as well. We can also add value to our brand by having a social media presence. So we can kind of allow those communication channels to open up, as I was mentioning before, in regards to kind of allowing customers to kind of get in touch with us if they've got any queries, especially those customers that are on the fence, customers who are not sure whether to buy from you, but they have a couple of queries before they actually click that buy it now button, for example, as well. So you can be there for them. And you can also naturally improve your marketing efforts by having a social media presence. So you might have kind of, if you Google some of your favorite brands out there, you probably will see on the first page of Google that there'll be a link to their Instagram or the Twitter or the Facebook or whatever it might be as well. So there's two different types of social media marketing that you get. You get organic social media marketing, which is free social media marketing. So right now you can kind of sit there and actually post something out on something like your Facebook business page. It doesn't cost you a penny to do. But the caveat to that is that post will only be seen by a selection of the people that follow your business page. And that's where paid social media advertising comes into play, whereby you end up kind of opening up the floodgates. So you can actually target people and have your advert appear in the social media news feeds of people who don't even follow you. And crucially, in the news feeds of people who don't know who what your business is. They've never heard of you before, and they don't even know that they even need your product yet. And that's where your advert comes in to kind of drum up that interest as well. So this is where you're kind of paying for things such as views or paying for something like clicks as well. So you can really kind of open up those floodgates and target more people as well. And that's just not just kind of location specific as well. You can kind of cast your net out wider as well. So to kind of get started with social media marketing, you want to really identify your audience, and there's a lot of kind of tools that can help you to do that. You've got kind of analytical tools that are built into these social media platforms, such as the likes of Facebook page audience insights. You've got the likes of Instagram insights, Twitter analytics, YouTube analytics as well, to kind of find out more information about your customers. You want to choose which social media channels to be on. And the important thing is to have a presence on the social media channel or channels that your customers are spending a lot of time on in general as well. And we want to be posting kind of a variety of content, kind of photos, videos, and just kind of switch it up from time to time as well. So top tips for success is we want to kind of set ourselves a goal, what we want to achieve on social media. We want to understand our audience, and we want to post consistency. I'm sure you're all kind of aware that social media can be a wall of noise. So we want to make sure that we're kind of posting on a kind of a regular basis. But when it comes to content, quality over quantity is something I cannot advocate enough specifically as well. And that's something that can set you apart from your competitors as well. So we've got email marketing. So email marketing, it's essentially, I'm sure you're all aware, it's where you're sending an email out to an email list that you have, and maybe a dozen people, 100 people, 1,000 people, however many it might be. One thing to bear in mind with email marketing is that it's very much permission based. So people must opt in to receive your email. And then when you're sending your email, it's important to kind of tell them why they're receiving the email, and then allow them the option to kind of opt out if they wish to do so as well. So in terms of getting started with email marketing, you can, as well as kind of building a relevant list of contacts and kind of creating useful content, is you can use kind of a variety of kind of email marketing platforms out there, such as the likes of MailChimp. Some of you might be using, or you might have heard of before. MailChimp actually has I believe, a free account that you can use, which has some limitations which you can maybe utilize, and it can really throw up a lot of information and data for you as well. So some top tips when it comes to email marketing is really kind of hone in on kind of interests that people have, and kind of try and tailor make your email content and newsletters to suit the needs of the people that you are sending that email to as well. Test out your email, see how it performs and how it looks and how the layout looks on kind of laptop, on mobile, on tablet as well, because we're all kind of checking emails pretty much on the go nowadays. So it's important to make sure everything's working between devices as well. And you can use the likes of MailChimp or other email marketing platforms out there to kind of measure things such as the open rates, how many people receive your email, but then actually click onto who actually then click onto your email, and how many of those people who have clicked and opened your email are then clicking on a specific link within the contents of your newsletter as well. So you can kind of track all of that information using these email marketing platforms as well. And then finally, we've got content marketing, which is a little bit different to a lot of the other digital marketing channels that we've kind of just kind of briefly gone through here. And with content marketing, we're not necessarily here to kind of sell our product or service at the initial stage. We're actually here to sell an idea. And we're looking to basically take people down take people on a sales journey to eventually kind of buying from us through the form of content. Now, the type of content that we can create kind of varies. So it could be photos, it could be videos, blogs, case studies, guides, whatever it might be. But essentially, we want to kind of have the same result, where we want to take people from knowing about us right through to the end of the line, which is where people know about us and they've actually bought from us. Maybe they're looking to buy again as well. So we're it's more of kind of a little bit of a soft sell when it comes to content marketing, and it can sort of feed into the likes of kind of email marketing, could sort of feed into social media as well. So to get started with content marketing, really want to identify our audience. So some of you might have kind of heard of kind of creating customer personas or customer example profiles. So you're kind of creating a fictitious person, which kind of acts as a buffer for you. So if you're not sure what type of content you can create, well, you'd say, right, well, this person I've created called John, giving this person John a name, his salary, where he works, where he's based, etc. He would be my ideal type of customer. Okay, well, would John like this type of content that I'm looking to create? It's important to kind of create these kind of example customer profiles as well, and use kind of that use that person as kind of a filter and a buffer to make sure that you're creating worthwhile content and useful and high quality content in general as well. So a really big top tip that I could say when it comes to content marketing and kind of creating different pieces of content to get them down that sales journey process is to use the art of storytelling. We all buy into stories, right? So probably one of the reasons why many of us kind of have been binge watching TV shows on Netflix. What keeps us going? What keeps us interested in watching episode after episode? It's the storytelling, right? And we can all tell stories, even from a business point of view. We can really tell stories, and storytelling is not something which, it's not a skill that you've either been born with or you're not. It's something which can be learned. I'm sure if you were to give it a quick kind of YouTube search, you probably find that there's lots of kind of different YouTube tutorials for kind of storytelling and things like that as well. And another kind of top tips to bear in mind when it comes to content marketing, as with all the other types of digital marketing, is to measure, see how things are performing, and then just kind of review and kind of always make tweaks and adjustments and alterations there. Okay, so that's kind of time for me to take a little bit of a breather here, because I'm sure there's kind of a lot of content in a short space of time for you as well to kind of consume. So let me just check in, see if there's any sort of, let me just kind of check in to see if there's any sort of questions from you all. So we've got a question from Alison, who's asked, hi guys, do good backlinks help your SEO? Great lecture, by the way. Thank you for that, Alison. Appreciate that as well. So when it comes to kind of things such as backlinks, there's lots of different factors. There's hundreds of factors that actually go into play in terms of search engines such as Google determining how high your website linking will rank. So I can't say yes or I can't say no, because there's hundreds of different factors in that regards as well. So thanks for that question, Alison. Got another question from Paul, who's asked, when creating the display advert, does it auto fit or is there a set size? I'm not sure, because I've not run a display advert for a while actually. So it may be something to kind of, when you're going through the process before you kind of hit that submit button, just double check that. But the one thing to bear in mind is make sure that whatever it is, make sure that kind of the image is not kind of stretched out. So you might need to kind of use other tools, kind of graphic design tools such as Canva, that can help you with kind of resizing things to the format that Google Ads might require as well. So definitely also check out the Google support pages, which can maybe give you the current dimensions that there are for that as well. So thanks very much for those questions, guys. If there's any more, feel free to drop them into the live chat. But without further ado, let's have a look at how we go about building a digital marketing plan here. So these are essentially what we've identified as kind of the 6 steps to creating a digital marketing plan. So as we go through each one of these, feel free to jot down notes and think about how can I apply this to my own business as well, right? So step one, we're going to be talking about business goals and objectives. So we're using in kind of a fictitious example here of a business called, we don't even know the name of the business, but we've got Max, and she's a hairdresser, and she's actually said that her business goals are to get more customers through a door, new and past, and to make more people in the area know that her business exists. Okay, fantastic. It's great to know. Now we want to kind of align that with what's known as online objectives. So you can see examples of online objectives here on screen, such as kind of increase online sales, increase online reach and awareness. Everything's pointed towards the online space here, right? Increase traffic to website, etc. as well. So there's there's an important distinction that we need to make between a business goal and an online objective, but you can probably see on screen there's more subtlety than you'd probably expect. So a business goal for Max could be that she wants to get more returning customers, which she did mention in her business goal there. So an online objective to that is just a slight variant to say that Max wants to increase traffic to her website, increase the amount of website visitors coming to her as well. So it's a small kind of tweak that we're making, but it's important from a strategy point of view to kind of have this clear distinction between your business goal and an online objective, because once you've got your online objective, you can work pretty much kind of exclusively to that specifically as well. So that's kind of step one done, nice and easy. I mean, might take you a little bit of time kind of sitting down. I don't expect any of you to kind of come up with your business goal and objective right now. I'm sure many of you actually have got your business goal set up, but maybe you might just need to refine your online objective perhaps as well to make sure it marries up a little bit more with some of your business goals that you set as well. So step two, as you can see here, this is all about kind of budget and resources, kind of the things that people tend not to want to kind of speak about after time. It's like, not really sure about budget resource, or because people generally might not have kind of the budget, for example, to run adverts right now, which is fair enough, but it's important to address this step anyway. So you might be at a stage with your business where you think, I don't really have a budget set aside for advertising. That's fine, but just make a note of that, because that can change later down the line as well. And for example, here with Max, she said, I don't have a website yet as it's too much an investment right now. Okay, great. It's very important to be honest at this stage, even with your digital marketing plan here. Just have that kind of level of honesty, just kind of working through these 6 steps here as well. Step 3 is really identifying who is going to be your target audience or target customers. So Max has actually given us a really great and description here, which is, I'm targeting females in my local area. My most valuable customers are females above 30 years old. They normally have children and work part-time. Most of them use Facebook. So that's really descriptive. And you can see there's a lot of level of detail that's gone in here. Max has actually not just kind of plucked this information out of thin air. She's actually done this through having a back catalogue of customers and kind of speaking to them, as hairdressers tend to do. I know I kind of probably talk way too much to my hairdresser, and he's probably kind of thinking, oh, Rikesh, why don't you just shut up a little bit while I cut your hair? But that's by the by. But this is kind of done through a lot of kind of research from her end as well. So think about how you can kind of really identify who would be your ideal type of customers, or the customers that you're tending to get a lot kind of coming through your door or through your virtual door, I guess, as well. So kind of really go in detail as to who your customer is, and even find out where they're spending their time online, which is really important to know as well. Okay, step 4 is understanding kind of which marketing channels are going to be right for you. So you can now kind of see actually how going through each one of those key digital marketing channels that we just kind of taken a whistle stop tour on can really kind of help with this step here to kind of contextualize which one or which ones that you want to kind of utilize. Now you can actually see here we've got kind of online objectives, and then correlating to that we've got kind of 3 digital marketing channels that might be useful. Now this is not kind of a this is not kind of a list which you must follow exclusively or anything. You can kind of chop and change this. As I mentioned before, search engine optimization, the process of improving your website so you appear more often and for more relevant search results. That's something which I personally, just from personal kind of experience of kind of working in the industry, it's just something which I truly believe that businesses should be doing kind of in the background, continuing that going. So that's just something that should always be kind of carried on. But then you can chop and change and kind of look at, you can maybe improve your social media presence. Maybe you don't have the budget for advertising, but maybe you can improve the actual presence of your social media in its infancy as well. You can run email marketing as well, and kind of consider what is going to be useful to you as well when it comes to which digital marketing channel that you do want to have a presence on. So, and then we've got kind of step 5, which is what I personally think is the most important step of this digital marketing plan, which is plan your activity, or what I like to call the action step phase, right? So it's all good and well. I'm sure we're all kind of sat through kind of webinar sessions where we're all kind of tuned in. We're maybe jotting down notes. You might be doing it right now as well. But for me, I always kind of think like actions are kind of better than just words sometimes. I'm not sure how to kind of phrase that even better, but that's kind of by the by. But it's important to kind of take action once we've kind of drawn up this digital marketing plan for our business and say, right, this is what we're going to do next. So for example, with Max here, we've come up with clear action steps here. So Max, remember, has said my online objectives are to reach more people in my local area and to get more returning customers. Don't have a website yet, as it's too much of an investment right now. That's fine. How could I use digital to help me? Well, here we go. We've got some action steps for Max here. So Max can actually list her business through Google My Business. So create that Google business listing at no charge, and is also able to create a website through that platform at no charge as well, which is a nice little added bonus, especially because Max said that says that she doesn't have the finances to fund a website as yet as well. Another action step for Max is she's able to kind of she's going to go ahead and set up a Facebook business page and also collect reviews from her existing customer base as well, and also post photos of customer hairstyles as well to get more people interested into her interested in her particular hairdressing business as well. And kind of building upon that is that she's going to use Facebook advertising. So it seems that she does have some money available, albeit kind of a little bit limited. So the limited budget that she does have, she's going to actually utilize that for Facebook advertising, especially as we know that her ideal type of customer, or her kind of target audience and customer base, are spending a lot of time on the Facebook platform itself. So she's going to use that to actually target customers in the local area, and hopefully kind of attract new customers to her through kind of offering kind of a promotion or kind of a coupon or whatever it might be as well. So it's very important to kind of really set out what action steps that you want to take for your business as well, and kind of list about 3 or 4. You don't need to kind of come up with a list of about 10. I'm sure we've all kind of sat there with a to-do list on our desk, and we think, well, I don't know how I'm going to get through that, how I'm going to get through this in a day, or how I'm going to get through this in a week. So just kind of break it down into chunks, because we can always keep adding action steps as we go along as well. But we just want to kind of create kind of small digestible action step chunks in its kind of infancy as well. So the final kind of step, which kind of bookends this digital marketing plan here, is we want to measure how well our business is performing, right? So through all these kind of digital marketing efforts, we want to make sure that this is all being put to good use. The time we're spending, maybe the budget that we're spending on advertising, it's all being put to good use. So we want to measure to see how well we're performing and if we are succeeding as well. Now, the way that we can actually do that is actually by setting ourselves SMART objectives. Now, you can actually see on screens the word SMART is kind of in capitals. Now, it's not because I'm kind of trying to shout the word SMART to you. It's because SMART is an acronym which stands for an objective which is specific, measurable, assignable, so it can be delegated, realistic, and time sensitive, so kind of a deadline attached to it as well. And it provides a lot more context when it comes to kind of setting these goals or objectives specifically as well. So you can see examples here with kind of a broad objective. I want to increase online sales. Well, that's not a lot to go off, is there? So we want to kind of add a little bit more context here. So a SMART objective to that could be, I want to increase online sales by 20% within 3 months. Now there's a lot more kind of information and a lot more kind of specificity to actually kind of handle and kind of deal with as well. Another broad objective that you could have would be, I want to increase brand awareness. I want to get more people knowing about my business. Okay, great. Well, let's turn that into a SMART objective, which could be, I want to increase our brand awareness on Facebook by growing our audience by new people by 40%. Now, for me, that objective actually is probably just small. it's missing the T because it's not got a deadline on there. So I'd probably add on to that with new people by 40% within 6 months. Just kind of add a deadline in there. It gives you kind of a period of time, so you realize, right, I need to get something done by this specific point in time as well. So that's essentially kind of those 6 steps. So let's actually have a look at Max's digital marketing plan all set together here, which is basically just looking like this. So everything, when it comes to this digital marketing plan, appears right here on screen. Now you might be thinking, well, Rikesh, usually shouldn't a digital marketing plan consist of pages and pages of kind of writing and kind of theories and graphs and charts and all sorts? Not really. So this is kind of the key information to kind of get down. And it's the way that we kind of like to compartmentalize when it comes to kind of a digital marketing plan. Now you can also kind of elaborate on this, don't get me wrong. You can also kind of go into kind of analytics and statistics, etc. But this is a great starting point when it comes to having these six steps in order. So we've got things such as which digital marketing channels is Max going to use, online objectives, business goals are all set out, smart objectives have been created here as well. We've got action steps, so the activity phase as well, and we've got a clear distinction as to who Max's target customers are as well. So that's something to bear in mind there as well. So that's essentially our kind of 6 steps to building a digital marketing plan. So feel free to kind of think about and all of these steps in turn and think about how can I apply this to my own business as well. And that will really help to just have that framework more than anything else for your own business, and help to kind of help you when you're going down this digital marketing process. Because sometimes you think, well, should I use social media? Should I use display advertising? You know, my SEO is not working that well. Should I give up on that? You might have a lot of questions that kind of stir in your mind. But if you've got a nice structure and a plan and this framework in hand, that can really kind of help you kind of stay on kind of the right path to success as well. Okey-doke. So let's check in, see if there's any sort of questions from you all at all. Okie doke. So I can't see any questions from you all. And by the way, I totally appreciate that. There's a lot of kind of information I've kind of thrown at you in a very short space of time. So don't kind of worry about that, because it can take time to kind of digest some of that as well. So with that in mind, let's actually have a look at some of your next steps now. So one of your next steps is to have a look at the link in the video description box below. Check out when the next retail excellence partnership webinar session is going to be running as well. So make sure that you check that out as well. And also feel free, when you're looking at the link in the video description box below and you're on the Google Digital Garage website, have a look at the online courses section as well of that of the Google Digital Garage website. Remember, it's the course called the Fundamentals of Digital Marketing course. And remember, once you've completed that particular course, which is available to you at no charge, you'll actually receive a certificate from Google at no charge as well, saying that you've completed the Fundamentals of Digital Marketing course as well. Also, if you did enjoy this webinar session, I really hope that you did as well, and you found it useful. Both myself and Benedict would appreciate a little bit of feedback. So there's a feedback form link which is in the video description, and I'm sure Benedict will kindly pop the link into the live chat for you as well. So once you've actually completed that short feedback form, you'll actually receive a copy of the content that we've actually gone through, so you can sort of digest it into kind of a few more chunks as well. And also, one thing to note is you can rewind and kind of, well, watch back this webinar session, as it's going to be, as this webinar session is going to be posted on the Retail Excellence's YouTube channel. So feel free to kind of check that out and kind of watch it over. I'm kind of one of those people, I like to watch things over a few more times, pause on certain steps of that digital marketing plan that we've just gone through as well, just to kind of get things down and kind of work through from your own business perspective as well. As I mentioned, it can be a lot of kind of information to kind of consume in a very short space of time. So I fully appreciate that as well. So definitely kind of make the most of that as well. And if you wish to kind of share your kind of experiences in regards to this, tuning in for this webinar session, and in regards to kind of sharing maybe some of the resources that we've got, such as the online courses on the Google Digital Garage website, feel free to kind of do so on social media. If you are going to do so, feel free to kind of include our hashtag, which you can see on screen, which is #DigitalGarage, just so members of the Google Digital Garage can see your kind of wonderful postings, and even your achievement if you post a photo of your your certificate once you've completed the fundamentals of digital marketing course as well. So with that in mind, I want to say kind of a massive thank you to our webinar partner, Retail Excellence, for partnering up on this webinar session. And obviously we look forward to delivering more webinar sessions as part of this particular series. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to Benedict, who I'm sure you'll agree has been a wonderful chat moderator, keeping his fingers ready on his keyboard, and kind of interacting with you throughout the course of this webinar session. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in and joining me on this Google Digital Garage webinar session this afternoon. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you. Goodbye.